Hello guys, and welcome to our third video of this Fort Wayne regional special where we are analyzing the potential tier 1 decks. Now it's well established, especially after Dortmund regionals, that Yveltal and Darkrai Giratina are two of the commonly accepted tier 1 decks. Mega Gardevoir going into that regional had really high expectations, and there was only one of them that made top 32, I believe. And we had other surprising decks such as Raikou, Jolteon, Electrode, or Rainbow Road actually took the whole tournament. So that definitely surprised quite a few of us, and yeah, maybe it's gonna make an argument to become a tier 1 deck. Now, unfortunately, we're not analyzing that deck this week, but after Fort Wayne regionals, we can definitely check it out and maybe make an update video as well. So, this is Mega Gardevoir. 210 HP, Despair Ray 110 plus 10 damage for every benched Pokemon you end up discarding. Evolutions brought us Dragonite-EX. Now, this deck is the one that benefits the most out of Dragonite-EX, along with Mega Rayquaza, but I feel like this deck especially because you can keep recycling Dragonite-EX through Mega Gardevoir and your Super Odds. Basically, playing down a Dragonite-EX becomes plus 30 damage and potentially draw cards or Pokemon Search whenever you do play it down. So that makes this deck even more consistent than it already was. Aside from that, we have the 2X Maniac to combat Giratina. We have 3 Sycamores, 1 N, 1 Lysander, and 1 Giovanni's in case we need to get that extra damage. And the other important modification here is the Parallel City. Now, Mega Rayquaza simply walks all over this deck, honestly, because you both run Skyfield and Mega Rayquaza can 1-hit KO you, whereas you can only 2-hit KO them, no matter what you do. So, having the Parallel City might help you in reducing their damage output. They might misplay and get rid of their Skyfields and things like that, allowing you to lock that in because maybe they just don't expect it. So those are like the main changes to the deck. The rest of the list is consistency. We have the Verseekers, the Ultra Balls, the Trainer's Mail, etc, etc. So let's jump right into the ladder to find ourselves some games, and there we go. Tier 1 Mega Gardevoir with a question mark. It's the third deck out of the 4 we're analyzing. Tomorrow we're gonna be taking a look at Mega Mewtwo, which I believe is our current opponent. So if that's right, we can definitely well, I think we have a really good chance here. As long as we set up normally and our hand should be poised or should allow us to do that, we really shouldn't have too much issue KOing Mewtwo's and Mega Mewtwo's. There we go. It is Mega Mewtwo, so that deck really has no answer to Mega Gardevoir at this point in time. It really doesn't. So yeah, I mean, my opponent's definitely gonna try. There's always the possibility that your opponent dead draws and things like that, but thankfully that's not gonna be the case for us. Garb does mess with you quite a bit. Ends can make you dead draw at any point in the game, no matter if you draw 6 cards or you only draw 1. So yeah, Gardevoir could put a dent in our plans, but as long as we power a single Gardevoir should be able to take at least 4 prizes potentially. 2 Gardevoirs should mean my opponent simply loses outright. Should, in theory. So yeah, and we even top deck another Hoopa. So our priority right now is to set up other Gardevoirs, but also to find energy. That's our main goal right now, to make sure we don't miss energy drops. So we do have access to 3 Mega Gardevoirs and 3 other regular Gardevoirs. And there's 8 energy. So what are our prizes? 1 Spirit Link is prized, 1 Skyfield is prized. The Skyfield's not a big issue, the Spirit Link might be. Looks like 1 Hex Maniac is prized. And then 1 Ultra Ball is prized as well. 1 Trainer's Mail. And something else that I can't, maybe, I'm not entirely sure, but do we grab anything else at this point? No, I'm just gonna grab both Gardevoirs. Because since we do have 1 Skyfield prize, there's no guarantee we're gonna have a ton of bench space available. The escape rope would not really help us at this point in time. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna Ultra Ball away the supporter and the escape rope. I'm gonna find a second Shaymin. And let's try and search for those energy and for the Spirit Links. Now we do find a Spirit Link, which is great. I kind of feel like even if I give up this Gardevoir EX, we should be fine. So I'm gonna attach the Spirit Link to a benched Gardevoir. That's gonna be our main target to power up in this game. Basically, I just want a clean Mega Gardevoir. But this hand with the triple versus Seeker off of the Shaymin is obviously not ideal. I guess I'll get rid. Yikes! Getting rid of so many verse Seekers really sucks. So I'm gonna get rid of the Gardevoir. And I'm not gonna search for anything else. And I'm gonna Shaymin for another 4 cards here. And we really need energy, which we're not gonna get today. Okay. An escape rope. I mean, I guess we can play that down. There's our 4th verse Seeker. But wow, no energy really hurts here. No energy definitely hurts. So I'm gonna Lysander his Hoopa to buy ourselves a little more time. We clearly need that. And I'm gonna have to pass here without doing too much. With no energy in play, we really don't threaten my opponent too much. He immediately has the Float Zone for the Hoopa, the Gardevoir, a DCE for Mewtwo, and a Sycamore. So a pretty perfect setup for my opponent. He'll probably find the Spirit Link, yep, off of the Trainer's Mail. I'm gonna bet that he has the Mega Mewtwo at this point in time. Yep, so if there's any game Mega Mewtwo is gonna take from Mega Gardevoir, it's gonna be a game like this, where you really struggle and he gets an absolute monster of a hand, which he is currently getting. Wow. So he's really going all in on this Mewtwo, and this is what I'm talking about. If I can manage to power up 1 Gardevoir, I'm actually gonna be alright. I'm generally gonna be alright. Now, I can save the Gardevoir potentially. I'm gonna escape rope. He's gonna bring up the Garb, which makes sense, or the Hoopa, whatever. I'm gonna pull up my own Hoopa, and I'm gonna be forced. I mean, I could Lysander here, another Mewtwo. He has 2 cards in his hand. And be patient, but maybe I should do that next turn. I'm gonna draw an extra 2 cards, but only 2 cards, unfortunately. And I get my 4th versus Seeker, but no sign of energy, no sign of Sycamore, no sign of anything useful. And now that Mega Mewtwo has 6 energy attached. He's gonna Lysander and KO a Spirit Linked Gardevoir, which makes the most sense. And even with that free space, we no longer have access to Shaymin, Hoopa, or anything else at this point in time. So this is really rough. We do find 1 energy, okay? We do find 1 energy. So I'm gonna Lysander up a Mewtwo to try and buy ourselves some time. I'm gonna attach an energy to this Gardevoir. And I'm just gonna bench the Dragonite and pass, because there's literally nothing else I can do at this point in time. He has an energy. One energy though. No floatstone, so that's good news, I guess. But see, here's another issue. If I use my 4th Sycamore right now, and he KOs this Hoopa, I just lose. I simply lose because he's gonna be able to wait safely with that Mewtwo on the bench. And I'm not finding anything. I'm generally just not finding anything. Okay. I'm gonna play the escape rope here. And I mean, oh. Yeah. There's no chance, guys. There's literally no chance here. There is literally no chance. Not with the hand we currently have. Not with the hand we currently have. Because if I retreat now, yeah. I'm just gonna concede. The Gardevoir was too much, our atrocious start was too much. Like, drawing all 4 Verse Seekers like that in a row, drawing 3 Verse Seekers off of a Shaymin, and no energy, no Ultra Balls, no nothing. What are you gonna do there? And now we might be up against Scissor. Now we might actually be up against Mega Scissor, so not the best way to start showcasing this updated version of Mega Gardevoir, definitely. Not the best way to start the day off. Okay, so we get a pretty decent hand, but you saw how much the turn 1 N hurt us last time around. You saw, guys, and I mentioned, like, before my opponent used the N, I mentioned it's really like a turn 1 N for 6 cards is almost always worse, or can really be worse than a turn 1 can be worse than an N2-1 card. It generally can be worse. So I'm gonna bench all of these Gardevoirs. Gonna limit my opponent's bench. And I'm gonna power up a benched Gardevoir, though I don't have high hopes for it. I'll keep the Ultra Ball. Now, my opponent didn't play anything. Literally did not play anything. So I'm gonna Ultra Ball away those 2 cards. I'm gonna grab the Mega Gardevoir to have it in my hand, and I'm gonna Shaymin for 5 brand new cards. The stadium won't really hurt my opponent. Yikes. And we are back in the exact same scenario. Unless my opponent whiffs the Mega, we are in a lot of trouble here, guys. There's a second energy, and there's an end. So odds are he will find the Mega Scissor. If he doesn't, he won't KO, but odds are he will. And sure, I find 2 Spirit Links. There's a Mega Scissor. Now, if he doesn't find any other Pokemon, which I would assume he's gonna go for Hoopa unless it's priced. Yeah, if he goes for Hoopa, we definitely lose. But he doesn't. So maybe we have a small chance here. Because we can 2-hit KO the Mega Scissor. So our hope, I guess, is for him not to find more basic Pokemon. That's the only way we are going to win here, guys. And if we manage to find a Mega Turbo and consecutive energy. So Trainer's Mail finds the Ultra Ball we need for the Mega Gardevoir. That's good news, I guess. That's good news. We can actually find Hoopa and therefore find 2 Mega Gardevoirs. And then I just Sycamore. But is it better to Shaymin? Yeah, I feel like it's better to Shaymin and then Sycamore because we need so many cards. We need so many cards. Okay, we find an energy. We find a Mega Gardevoir. And now we are going to have to Sycamore our current hand. I mean, sure, I'll put that Gardevoir back. It's not like it's gonna make a difference in really increasing or decreasing the odds of finding the Mega Turbo and another Mega Gardevoir. We do find both Mega Gardevoirs actually, interestingly enough. So there's both. I can play that stadium down and I can actually draw a few more cards. Just trying to put myself in a position, wow, where I have the Mega Turbo, but that's not looking too great, apparently. How do you, in a deck with 8 total energy, do you Shaymin for 4? Like, I don't know. I generally don't know how I do it, guys. Okay, I'm gonna Despair Ray and I'm gonna discard everything but the Mega Gardevoirs. He does resist, but that doesn't really matter. If he counters stadiums, I still have space. But yeah, we're banking on my opponent drawing dead. We are literally banking on my opponent drawing dead. Crushing Hammer only plays it down in order to draw an extra card off of Shaymin. He recognizes that he's actually in a little bit of trouble if he can't. Yeah, never mind. If he can't replace a Scissor, but gets rid of 1 Mega Scissor. That's good news, because maybe his hand is not too hot. There's a Scissor, there's an energy on the Scissor, there's a Trainer's Mail, which he whiffs. His last card, Sycamore, it always is. It's always Sycamore, guys. It's generally always Sycamore. In an ideal world, we would have a Mega Turbo, an energy, and the N in our hand. But but that's just not gonna happen today. That is just absolutely not going to happen today. Okay. Okay, so okay, let's find Hoopa, use Hoopa and find Dragonite and only Dragonite. So Dragonite will find me 2 Shaymins, right? Dragonite will find me 2 Shaymins, which I can immediately use. And the Super Odd simply to draw extra cards. Do I want to put in? It's like, how do I have 4 energy in my hand? I'm gonna Shaymin for 1 card, which is a Mega Turbo. Okay, that's fair. I mean, my opponent's hand is absolutely huge. So unless I hit the N right now off of these 2 cards, which I don't. I hit a Verse Seeker, but there's no N. There's no N. So I guess I Hex Maniac, maybe? Maybe I Hex Maniac? I can't Sycamore away all my energy either. I generally can't. So I guess I'll just attack then. And I'll get rid of all the easy pickings. So we got our first KO. My opponent's hand is absolutely huge. Oh, there it was. there was the end. Wow, he actually promotes Shaymin, which means he's gonna attach energy, he's gonna attach the float stone. Oh no, he has a switch. So yeah. Guys, there's literally nothing I could have done there. Literally nothing I could have done. When you Shaymin into 4 energy, and the previous game when you Shaymin into 3 versus Seekers, what do you do? What do you generally do? What do you generally do? Okay, so let's hopefully be able to do better. But if we're up against Greninja, we're actually up against Greninja. Greninja is not a good matchup for this deck either. I faced off using Greninja against this deck, piloted by Brit Pibas in Orlando, and I mean the games were the first game was a blowout. The second game was close, but I ended up pulling it off. It's just so many ends paired with the fact that you can't lock their abilities like in consecutive turns, or it's not likely, and the fact that they can lock your abilities, it's just too much. So even Greninja is not a good match for this deck. So I don't know. I mean, maybe my build is wrong, but it's based off of the successful builds. So I don't know. Like, I feel pretty comfortable and pretty good with the fact that my list is good and consistent, and you generally cannot control the fact that you draw 4 energy when you run 8, or you can't control the fact that you draw 3 verse Seekers, you know. So I kept the Ultra Ball. With the Ultra Ball, I'm gonna go for Hoopa. And I guess I will discard the Mega Gardevoir. Let's find out what's priced. 1 Mega Gardevoir is priced, of course. I will grab Hoopa. With Hoopa, I will grab 2 Gardevoirs. I will grab 2 Gardevoirs and only 2 Gardevoirs. And then hopefully this Shaymin works out for us. Hopefully this Shaymin is not as bad as the others. And it's gonna be for 5 cards, because I will put back that other Shaymin and the Mega Gardevoir I discarded. That's another benefit of running so many super odds, the fact that you can afford to do that. Now, no supporter in sight. There's an N. Okay, I will take that N. And apparently my opponent is running some sort of lock deck, because there's a Slowpoke. Okay, so we don't find energy, we do find a Hoopa for potential Mega Gardevoir in turn 2, and we do have a Berserker for the end. So once again, finding energy is our priority and our biggest issue with this deck. 8 energy is a very low energy count. It's like just enough to get by, just enough. Any lower, you'd be making yourself less favorable in whatever matchup simply because of that, and any more would be really hard to fit. So 8, decent, but I'd be a lot more comfortable running 9. Wow. So it's a slow king Raticate control sort of deck. He actually gets rid of our Spirit Link. He actually got rid of our Spirit Link, so I'm gonna lose a turn here. I'm actually going to lose a turn. I guess I'll grab all of that simply to have a better chance at top decking something good. But okay, basically I need to attack and get rid of the useless basic Pokemon, because that way his slow king will not be very useful. Now, if he flips heads, you're going to start having a little bit of trouble. You're definitely going to start having a little bit of trouble, and I'm gonna bet he uses crushing hammers as well, so now it's very likely now it's very likely that he's gonna flip heads, and he will transfer the energy to a Hoopa, most likely to a Hoopa. Random receiver also finds him a Lysander, so that's gonna be a big issue. And there's the head flip. There's the head flip. This is going to be really, really annoying. So, because I don't really need extra Pokemon in order to deal extra damage, all I need is to power up one Gardevoir. That's all I need here, guys. I just need to power up one Gardevoir. Okay. So. I don't want to attach the energy. What I'm gonna do is, I am going to limit my own bench. I'm gonna discard the Hoopa and the other Hoopa, because at least Shaymin has a 1 retreat cost. I will attach this just to thin out my deck, and then next turn I can play down the stadium, attach my energy, and I have an energy in my discard pile, so hopefully I will get close to the Mega Turbo and be able to... Well, if he Lysanders though... No, okay, he doesn't Lysander. Okay, that's good news. And we draw another Shaymin, which is also good news. Raticate Break also has 110 HP, so like I mentioned, we can simply leave 2 Mega Gardevoirs around in order to ensure... Wow. These hands, man, these hands are gonna kill me. Okay, I will end, because there's no point in using Shaymin for one card. So I will end first, but I need to find the Mega Turbo this turn. I do. That's great. That is absolutely great. Like, I'm even tempted. Well, I can't leave myself in a position where I don't have another Mega Gardevoir because of the risk of a Faded Town plus a Raticate Break attack. But I can leave only one benched Gardevoir, and now he only gets one flip. Now he only gets one flip, and if I really need to, I can search for another Shaymin in case he Lysanders, or in case he does well. We know he has a Lysander, but in case we need to find an escape rope. So there he tries the head flip. We have yet to play a single escape rope. He actually attaches and retreats immediately, and he escape ropes. Okay. So I'm going to guess he's going to... Oh well, he can only crunch for 10 damage. He can literally only crunch for 10 damage. But that's okay. We are actually in an okay position here. There's 2 Shaymin in my discard pile, so we know. Crunch for 10. Okay. So now I need an escape rope. That's all I need here. I'm gonna attach an energy anyways. I'm going to Ultra Ball away the energy in case I find the Mega Turbo, gives us another out, and the Mega. I'm going to find Shaymin. Now, if I don't get to attack, that's gonna be an issue. But okay, first let's Shaymin for 3 cards. See what we get off of this. Okay, so we find the Mega Turbo. That's absolutely great. That is absolutely great, and the one card we actually needed. I'm gonna Hex Maniac to avoid any weird things happening, and I'm just gonna Despair right here, and I'm gonna get rid of the Shaymin, and that should be game against this weird deck. So the deck decides to work when the deck decides to work when against a non-competitive deck, and apparently my opponent just won't give up. Apparently he won't give up. So yeah, there's a victory. Perfect. So let's move on to the next game. Hopefully we find a competitive game, because I mean, against Mega Mewtwo you would think you would win, but it's clearly not an automatic win. Gardevoir can get annoying, and then if you draw dead, then you're not gonna get far. And then Scissor is definitely an auto loss. Like, I mean, if it's not a 90-10 matchup or a 95-5 matchup, I don't know what is. So now a pure water deck. Potentially Primal Kyogre based on the coin. So I guess we won't get to see Primal Kyogre, I mean Mega Gardevoir against another main deck, but as we featured in the Primal Kyogre a couple of weeks ago, it's definitely a viable choice. It's most definitely a viable choice. It has healing, it has retreat, it has spread damage, so there's definitely an argument there for Primal Kyogre. But we're gonna try our best. We are gonna try our best. And going first most certainly helps. Now, that's not a Primal Kyogre, that's actually a Regice. So our turn 2 Mega Gardevoir just became even more important. Now, I'm gonna grab another Shaymin for security, if you will. I will bench these two. I will draw 2 cards first. See what I get. Okay, so I get an Ultra Ball. I could do this. Getting rid of the escape rope, I'm not a fan, and I'm not gonna find anything. But as long as I can guarantee the attack on Regice, that should be good enough. For now, at least. But I'm not going to. Okay. I mean, we still should be able to, because I can still find more Shaymin, and I have the stadium to do so. Hopefully it works out, because I'm a bit nervous now. I'm definitely a bit nervous. Now my opponent has no information about our hand. So I was gonna say he might go for another Regice and try to power that up. He might expect the turn to Gardevoir even if we whiff it. Or he might simply not have anything else and be drawing dead, and we're gonna get a quick win here. All of those are possible. In this standard format, which in theory I thought I would really like, but I don't know. I feel like there's not too much room for outplaying opponents, whereas it's simply based on the luck you get in matchups. So, like, if you're running Mega Gardevoir, and wow, we are actually going to whiff. I can't believe this. We are actually going to whiff. And if he has a DCE in his hand, we lose. How do I do this, guys? How do I manage to do this? How do I manage to draw so poorly? How? I can't figure it out. I generally cannot figure out how I draw so freaking poorly. Let's watch him attach the DCE and completely mull us over. Or get a paralysis. That's also another option. And if he does, I just made a huge mistake by not keeping a Shaymin so that I could retreat for a single energy. I mean, oh boy, here we go. Here we freaking go. Well, he has the rough seas anyways. So it's gonna come down to the flip. Unless I top deck a magical Hoopa or a magical Dragonite maybe, or a magical Sycamore. It's gonna come down to a flip. 50-50 chance. Ice Beam and obviously flips heads. He will have another energy, and because we don't run Ranger, that's game. He doesn't need to bench absolutely, and he doesn't need to do anything else other than Resistance Blizzard. I really can't believe this, guys. I genuinely cannot believe this. I promise you guys, this deck is better than I'm showing. I can't seem to get a break. Honestly, I just can't seem to get a break. What do I do in the previous game? Seriously. Okay, even if I had left a Shaymin, he had the rough seas to heal himself. So picture a scenario where I left Shaymin and I had the escape rope and the energy to retreat. He had the rough seas, so I would have dealt 100 damage to that Regice. I still would not have KO'd. So I had a 0%, no, I had a 50% chance. Because if he whiffed the flip, I attached an energy and I KO'd using Luminous Blade. But what are you gonna do there? Man. Wish I could showcase these decks better. But what am I supposed to do? Like, should I really play and record 15 games and only showcase the ones where I get perfect hands? And face off against good opponents? I'm generally at a loss there. And then I use Mega Blastoise and the deck runs absolutely perfectly, and I beat 2 meta decks in the Spanish video on Saturday. Or I use Pikachu EX Magnezone and I run really hot and I beat Greninja. It's like I can get a turn 2 Magnezone and power up a Pikachu EX to deal 150 damage. But I can't get a turn 2 Gardevoir EX with 4 Shaymin, 3 Hoopa, 4 Ultra Ball. I know it's variance, guys, but it does, like, when you're really passionate about this and when you're investing so much and when you want to produce something of good quality, like it gets really frustrating that you really can't because of things like that, you know? I mean, it gets really frustrating at times. But anyways, looks like we are up against Mega Darkrai Giratina. I didn't pay attention to the previous screen, but that would be my bet. Now, we see a Float Stone on the Shaymin, and he just discarded another Float Stone, so if he doesn't set up Gardevoir, that should play to our advantage, kind of. Doesn't find Hoopa though, he just finds Shaymin directly. Plays down a Parallel City, we'll draw 5 cards. There's a Trubbish. Turn to Gardevoir would of course be super detrimental. Super detrimental. Okay. The double Dragon Energy confirms Giratina, which there it is. So our Hex Maniacs are gonna be really important. I'm gonna guess he's gonna Sycamore. Yeah, so that's why he got rid of those energy. And he whiffs the Elixir. That's good news for us. There's a second Max Elixir, which is not going to whiff. And there's the pass. Okay, so let's Trainer Snail. And we find a Counter Stadium immediately, which is good news. Now, I'm not gonna attach an energy to the active Gardevoir. Just gonna search for more Gardevoirs here, and wow. Are you seeing these guys? There's 2 Megas priced. There's actually 2 Megas priced. Okay. We'll have to make do. We will have to make do with that. Anyways, should I bench the Dragonite? Probably, so that I can draw an extra card, because our hand is not looking too hot at the moment. Definitely not looking too hot at the moment. Okay, at least this will make my opponent face a tough decision, potentially. Nope. He makes the right play in promoting Darkrai. He knows I don't threaten him at all with anything. And there's the Sycamore. So, goodbye 2 Versus Seekers. Goodbye 2 Versus Seekers. Okay. This is an okay hand. As long as nothing weird happens next turn, this is actually an okay hand to follow up. Even if he does get rid of literally everything on my bench. So, do I keep the Shaymins? No. That's okay. Because we 2-shot Darkrai anyways, right? And with the Hex, see, the issue is, okay, he ends. Oh boy. Have to make sure I have access to Hex. Now, I lose the only Mega Gardevoir I have. I do find a replacement stadium though, which is good. And the problem is that Trubbish. Once I escape rope here, he's definitely going to promote Trubbish, which won't get us any further. But if I can bait my opponent into promoting the Giratina, thinking he's gonna be safe, well, that's not gonna happen now. He's not gonna promote Giratina though, but I have to go on the offensive. I definitely have to go on the offensive in this turn. He's gonna promote the Trubbish. No, wow, he promotes the Giratina. He actually promotes the Giratina. Oh boy, okay. I guess I still Sycamore, because otherwise there's no guarantee I'm gonna get Mega Gardevoir anytime soon. Now, let's see if this Trainer's Mail does find me a Spirit Link. That's good news. The issue is, if I Hoopa here, I will reveal the fact that there's only one Mega Gardevoir available. There's only one Mega Gardevoir available. I mean, I don't have to evolve right now. He doesn't really threaten me at this point in time. And I could potentially evolve the benched and simply Lysander KO the Giratina. Ugh, but I attached the Spirit Link to the wrong Gardevoir. Ugh. I can't believe this. Yeah, I'm gonna pass here. Oh, well, I should have attacked. That was stupid, but it's not gonna make a difference in the long term. That might. He's not gonna get a KO though. There's absolutely no way he gets a KO this turn. He will get it next turn, but that's okay too. And he doesn't end me. That's good. That is good. That is actually good. And that Max Elixir onto the Giratina, that's okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. He's dealing 150 damage minus my resistance 130. There's absolutely no way he will be able to power that up or to get 2 more energy into play, you know? There's literally no way he can, because he only has 1 Max Elixir left. So there's 130. So we're still good here, despite having 2 Mega Gardevoir priced, despite me playing the Spirit Link to the wrong Gardevoir. We are still good here. And now the question is, do I play Shaymin? Probably not. I mean, there's gonna be 5 energy in my discard pile, which is not great. I'm just gonna take the KO. Link Blast doesn't KO. Luminous Blade does. So there's our first KO. Find a Spirit Link and a Fairy Energy. So 2 Megas still in the prices. 2 Megas still priced, but now Darkrai's damage is pitiful. Like, sure, he will get the KO. Sure, he ends us down to 4 cards, but our deck is relatively thin. And we find the energy we need. So that's perfectly okay by me. Touches a Fighting Fury Belt and an energy to Garb. Which is interesting. Makes sense. That prevents Dragonite from working anymore. But we do get to 2-hit KO this Darkrai, so it's not that big a deal. Really not a big deal. Here's our energy. I'm going to deal an extra 20 damage because I have the Sycamore. And I'm going to Despair Ray and discard these 3 Pokemon, which are the liabilities, if you will, and deal 140 damage. So now 110 minus his resistance is 90. That brings us to a total of 230 damage. If he were to use Olympia right now, he would go down to 110 damage. But I would only need 2 Pokemon in order to KO. And And I should be able to have a follow-up Mega Gardevoir, or simply find a Verseeker to Lysander KO a Shaymin. Yes, his damage is literally really bad. There's Giratina, no big deal. He has 6 cards left to play with. Well, now he has 7. Puts back 3 energy, which makes sense. Makes sense, but it's still not gonna be enough for him to get back into this, I don't think. Or I hope it's not. Gonna get rid of 2 energy right now. The Verseeker top deck I'm not a fan of. I'm definitely not a fan of that Verseeker top deck. But I just have to Sycamore here. Well, I actually don't find energy. Wow, my opponent concedes. But the fact that I did not find energy was going to be a huge issue. A really, really big issue. Like, maybe I could have even afforded not to win next turn. But it was gonna be a problem. But thankfully my opponent concedes. So there you have it, guys. A loss against Mega Mewtwo, which should have been a win. A loss against Mega Scizor, which is expected. And a win against Darkrai Giratina, which is one of the main reasons why this deck got hyped in the first place, because Darkrai Giratina did really well, Yveltal did really well at Orlando, and therefore people were talking about how good Mega Gardevoir is for this, for the current metagame. Now, Fort Wayne Regionals this weekend, unexpected record-breaking attendance, so that means potentially at least 700 players, at least 650 players, something around that number, maybe more. So that's gonna be really interesting. And out of so many players, you can simply assume that there's literally going to be every deck possible played. So do you play something really against dark types? Do you play something against Volcanion? Do you play something that might have 50-50 matchups across the board? That's the age-old question, and we don't know how Dortmund Regionals results will affect this. But that's gonna be it from me, guys. Thank you so much for watching and enduring all our weird draws during this video. And yeah, make what you will of Mega Gardevoir. I like the deck, but I don't think it likes me very much. Thank you guys so much. Please leave a like if you can on the video, and I will see you guys tomorrow for our last deck in this special series, Mega Mewtwo. Bye bye.